Okay, guys, welcome in. Welcome in. Back to Instructions for Humanity. Let me know if you can hear me okay. We are back and we need to continue on with the psychic investigation. There we go. There we go. Welcome in. Back. Good on my end. Oh, you can hear me. Hi, Gail. Welcome in, guys. We'll get started in a moment. I'm going to wait for some of you guys to come on in here. And guys, when you come in here, please, more than half of you guys who watch me on a regular basis are not subscribed to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel to help push these videos out to everyone else. I put my heart, my soul, my passion into bringing you guys these prophetic messages. So please do subscribe and put a like on the video when you enter. We're going to wait for a few of you guys to come in here. So while we are doing that, I'm just going to do some announcements here. And hi, welcome in, Sister Gal, Sister Sonia, welcome in. Sister Gail, I got your message and I did see it turn last night. I did pray and I saw it in my mind's eye. I knew everything would be okay. So I'm happy to hear the great news. So thank you. Welcome in, Sister Janice. Welcome in, everyone. And we'll just wait for some more of you guys to come in. It's another psychic investigation on Charlie Kirk. I received a prophetic dream last night involving Charlie Kirk, and I'll tell you guys where I stand so far. Even though the psychic investigation, it's still going on. As we on this channel, we dive deep. We look at things on a multi-dimensional level. So we've looked at the individual motives, right? From a psychic perspective, we looked within the 3D realm, right, within this space-time continuum, and we've also went out into further templates like the biblical template, the collective template, the galactic template, the Akashic records, just to take a look at that as well. And so today we're going to be looking into our financial templates because something is going on. In It wasn't just enough that I did see Charlie in a prophetic vision inside of a dream, but I also kind of getting this energy from Trump about the tariffs that were announced and about the market crash and about now Israel now, the war ending over there between Israel and Gaza and Palestine. It's all just a little too weird when you add it all up together. So, you know, this is by no means to say that Charlie is or is not, but this is part of the investigation. We have to investigate everything. Okay, so come on in, guys. Please subscribe to the channel and put a like on the video when you come in, and we will get started shortly. There's some very interesting things popping up within Trump's automatic writing, right? So you guys know automatic writing is, it's a tool that you can use to, get receive messages. You don't know what you're writing, you just think you're doodling. It's not until you look back at it that you can actually see that these things do tell a story. And in fact, we've gotten multiple stories, from multiple different writings, from Candace Owens to Erica Kirk to Charlie Kirk himself to Trump, right? And it just keeps building. So there's a lot to kind of go through, and I'm just doing something really, really quickly, and then we're gonna pop into this message, y'all, and it's about to get deep. And to be honest with you, I was supposed to do this video a few hours ago, and there's been some delay. So, this typically is part of the message, guys. I'm not sure why someone doesn't want me to get here or to say what it is that I'm going to say, but it needs to be said. Okay, give me 1 second. It's very interesting how this is showing up on YouTube. I don't like how it's showing up on YouTube. So give me just a moment to course correct that. So the curious case of, and I wanted to say Charlie Kirk continues, but, what popped in my mind is the curious case of George Floyd. And so if you've been on this channel in this psychic investigation, you will know that what we are pulling together is that this is part of a larger ritual, as, October 14th, which is tomorrow, is George Floyd's birthday. And it's also Charlie Kirk's birthday. And tomorrow is also a day that something big in our financial market happens as well. So this message is very, very timely. And to be honest with you, I don't know exactly what will come up, and I just like to get my messages live. So I'll be finding out this information for, the first time, right along with you guys. Um, I do want to say that I'm going to introduce myself. Thank you guys for being here with me today. My name is Tahirah, Mother of the Ages. I'm a supernatural quantum healer, psychic investigator, and a channeler of the Omniverse, guys. And if you'd like to book your own spiritual diagnosis so you can find out what's going on with yourself on a multi-dimensional level and healing session, just go ahead and there'll be some links down below. I do have the spiritual diagnosis quantum reading discounted for this month. So take advantage of that. And then if you're interested in learning how to be a psychic investigator, how to be a quantum telepathic healer, where I teach you over 20 different quantum healing modalities, right? Just email me instructions number 4 humanity at gmail.com. All righty, guys. All right, all right, all right. All right. Okay. So I think I got myself situated in what I needed to do here. And we're gonna dive right into the vision, right? All right. So last night I was dreaming, right? And I get a lot of my visions inside of my dream state. And it was very interesting. I saw an image of Charlie, and he was like for instance, like let's say you were on a magazine, right? And he had a blue background. And this is important. He had a blue background, and it was like he was on a magazine. So it's like half of his face was kind of like sketched, like he was being immortalized, right? But I remember that half of his face was kind of in the shadow, right? So that half of the face was sketched in a little bit more than the other half of the face. And that was interesting that he had blue behind him. When we think about blue, we think about Democrats. That's the first thing I thought about. Like, why does he have this blue background behind him? But then when I look at the news and they said, oh, the war's ending, Trump has struck a deal, the blue kind of now reminds me of Israel as well. And if you guys have been here on this channel, blue for me in the spirit realm means deception. It doesn't mean that it always means deception. But as we know in the psychic investigation, there's a lot of deception going on. So that is the first thing I saw. Then the second thing I saw with him was very interesting. It's like not someone, source wanted me to pay attention to his hands. So I saw Charlie the same day that he, so to speak, got shot, right? He was sitting in the chair, but I was made to pay attention to his hands. Yes, I understand he was holding a mic, but that's not what I saw. I saw his hands fidgeting around. And do you know how, like, the Secret Service men, right? When they guard the president, they'll always be walking and they'll have their hands like this, and it's like a fake hand that like detonates like a firearm. That's what I saw. So it was like a hand was fake, but it was like let's just say for instance, if he presses on one finger, then it would detonate something. I'm not saying that he did detonate. I'm just telling you right now of what it is that I saw, because he's also still not exonerated, because there's been a few interesting things, even though I feel like he was played, but we still have to take a look at this angle. So that's the first thing with his hands. Like one of the hands was fake, and if he pressed a finger, he could detonate something. Then I saw his hands in another position, was like almost like not like clasped together, but like up towards his head. If you were to lay your hands on your head, but it wasn't in that positioning. It just felt like when you immortalize someone or you want to make them a figure, and what comes to mind is like Martin Luther King, right? If you want to make them this figure, they might take a picture like that where their hands, because you can see their hands are clean, right? and next to their face, or they, like they're angelic, right? I saw his hands next to his face like that. And mind you, all the while, this has the blue background behind him. I saw that. And then I saw a text message thread in my mind's eye. And the text message thread was about insider trading. And I saw someone text him that about the stock market. We just like literally about $250 billion was drained out of the market. And that's a whole nother video because a lot of people committed, you know what, but the money just came back. That's what happens, guys. They do this on purpose to get people to transfer their wealth into the hands of the 1%. So that's why we say you got to have strong hands. So nevertheless, I saw someone text him about a particular stock. And it was, when I tell you how much percentage this thing was going to go down, pretty much almost to zero. I mean, it was unbelievable. And this particular stock tracks the entire, kind of the Fortune 500, companies. So what I'm taking that as is the entire market, which we did actually see a major pullback, a crash, if you will. Someone text him that this particular stock, which tracks the entire market, was going down. I'm talking down to the freaking floor. And if you guys saw any of the videos or people were playing, it literally went down. We saw large candles to the downside, if you know anything about trading. Large red candles to the downside with major wicks, right? Just going all the way down, like unbelievably down. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I saw someone text him and he got the memo. Then I saw him in a darkly lit room where it was his office, right? So you know how like rich people, they have like these offices with these moose heads or deer heads hanging on the wall. So it was like an office, right? That I presume to be Turning Point USA. It was like his personal office, right? And then I heard him say to this person through the text thread, and it was almost like he was not laughing in an evil way, but like just like a few chuckles, right? That he is going to pay his staff with this. Like this could be a salary for his staff. He didn't say how many months of salary, years, or if it was just for that week. But essentially, whatever insider trading that they sent to him was enough to pay his staff, whether it was for a week, a month, a year, or whatever. But he was in glee about this. Now, this is just a dream, guys. Do I think that he's sitting there trading? No. But I'm telling you what I saw, because when we start to compound this thing with a lot of the other messages, it is my hope to go ahead and to explore what that was a bit more, right? So I'm going to put that here. The other thing I need to mention is when I was channeling 3I Atlas, something very interesting came up. And I was talking about the witch that has been showing up, right? In all of this kind of just weaving in and out of all of these different, videos we've been doing. And my sister had this dream that she opened a closet and there was a witch there with a painted white face, like white as snow, like white as paper. And then all of a sudden the lady grabbed a man and something grew out of her pinky or one of her nails. She stuck him in the back of the neck with it, right? And now it's interesting because this is the part I never did say. My sister was telling her, this is your karma. You did it. You did this. You did this. You're going to pay for it. This is your karma. Your karma. And I think it was giving a nod to how these people escape karma. Because what they do is they trick us into holding the emotional bag. Because my sister opened the door to the closet, this witch felt like, well, it's your fault, because if you not exposed what it was that I was doing, then this man, I wouldn't have had to stick him in the back of the neck. So my sister pointed out, no, this is your karma. You did this. Like, you're going to have to pay for what it is you did. So that is a data point. And I presume that that man would be Charlie. So that is a data point of a real injury. But it was very interesting that when I was channeling 3i Atlas, I got something within the channel which was talking about a door, and I think that these messages are combined. So I want to see if I can find that, because I want to be able to put all the pieces together. So give me just a moment. And guys, please, if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Let me see if I can find that on my recorder here. Okay, so I'm going to try to play this. I'm not sure if this is the right one, but let's just see if this will lead us and talk about, yes, allegedly lag. Yeah, and talk about this. Let's see if this is what I'm looking for. Significant because so the door is very significant because I saw like the phone as a door. And if you think about the spiritual meaning of door as a threshold for change, representing opportunities, new beginnings, and spiritual transformation, but also two, the closet is representing private, intimate space for prayer and communion with God, a place to be vulnerable. And essentially, what did I say? That we're in bed with an entity attached through all these major religions, and the entity is returning through that 3i Atlas, that AI grand wizard motherhood. So essentially, the people that were waiting for the rapture, they weren't wrong. Okay, all right. I'm not sure if that's the right one. Let me see if this is it. So essentially, guys, they want to. I'm about to crack this case open. I can feel it. They want to get me off. There was something very significant about a door. When I looked at my phone, right? This was when I was channeling the 3i Atlas. The phone was very significant because the phone became like a portal. That's I think that's what I'm trying to say. The phone became a portal, and it almost like duplicated itself. Like you could see like a portal, and you could see like one door, but it was nine doors. Like it had a field of depth is what I'm trying to say. It had a field of depth. And if you think about where we're going, right, with technology, that everything is going to be in our phone, right? Eventually your phone will be part of your body, right? And so I'm telling you, this is going to be very, very important. So it was like the door that I opened, not I opened, but my sister saw. She opened the door, and then there was that witch lady with this guy that I presumed to be Charlie. But also, too, I saw a door on the phone. So somehow, some way, this Charlie Kirk passing possibly is a doorway into us going deeper into the captivity through the technology. It gets deep, guys. Stay with me. That's going to be important. So now there's something very interesting that I found in Trump's automatic reading. The day that I did that initial one, I think, remember, his energy was missing. And I kept saying, these people are missing. Where are they going? Well, look what happened over the past few days. They were going to do this secret deal or whatever it was with Israel, right? I don't believe that this thing is over. No, I think we're just getting started. I'm going to play this video of Trump kind of addressing the nation, and there's some very weird things that he says, and how he kind of says it, that kind of alludes to some sort of secret deal or even some sort of division of assets. And and this is tying into the markets too, because I'm getting the vibe that around the $250 million that were drained out of the market, some of that money I think went to pay Israel money. I truly believe that. I can't prove that yet, but possibly as we keep going down this road, that will show up. I think he took money to pay off whoever. And now this into the war surprisingly shows up. It was a deal. It had nothing to do with the war. It had everything to do with someone getting paid. And I think they stole money from the American people, allegedly now, girl. And I think that the money that they took from Americans, part of that money went to pay the Zionists to get a peace deal. Because think about it. The Zionists say that God promised them this land. It's in the Bible and all of that. They won't stop until they get it. Well, they want the land. They want the land for money. They want the resources. They want the seaside. They want this. But if they have the money, then do they really need the land? And they will still fight for the land. Do not be mistaken. They will still go after that land. They will. This is the quiet before the storm. Okay? So now I'm going to play this video here. I'm going to play the video here. 1 second. Where is it? Okay, here it is. And I'm going to have to do something first. I'm going to have to unplug here because you guys won't be able to hear it this way. 1 second. Okay, I'm going to have to use my computer speaker so that you guys can hear it. Okay. All right, I'm going to play this here, guys.
After 2 harrowing years in darkness and captivity, 20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their families, and it is glorious. 28 more precious loved ones are coming home at last to rest in this sacred soil for all of time. And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is totally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity. This is not only the end of a war, this is the end of an age of terror and death and beginning of an age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
Did you guys catch all those things he said? He was saying the age of terror is gone. This is an age of faith in God, the concord. Like, let's pay attention to all of these key words again.
Finally at peace. So harrowing years in darkness and captivity, 20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their families, and it is glorious. 28 more precious loved ones are coming home at last to rest in this sacred soil for all of time. And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity. This is not only the end of a war, this is the end of the age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand conquest.
I want to point something out to you guys. What do I always keep saying? We're at the end of one age and the beginning of a new one. He literally just said that. See, these are the key codes. And by the way, did you catch how he was speaking? It appears that AI was involved in writing that speech. I know that presidents have people to write that, but I could pick up on the rhythm of the AI and some of the word combinations. So I'm gonna make sure. Okay, cool. Sound is still good. So here's the thing, guys. When I tell you we're at the end of the age where we were dealing with the outer God, we were dealing with religion, right? We were dealing with, the law of duality, as above, so below, as within, so without. We were dealing with the as without. That's the end of one age. That age was an age of terror and death, as he stated. So now the new age is about the inner man, the inner God, the inner standing, right? Which would be the age of faith in God. So, right there, he's already letting you know what time it is. We have approached a new age. But within this new age, I totally believe we are getting new technology as well. We are growing into more of a totalitarian sort of government. The one world, you know what? All the nations are getting much smaller until we get to one into one, right? He also mentioned all of time, returning the hostages, returning to the sacred soil for all of time. And then he mentioned, may this be a nation for all of eternity, right? I don't know about you guys, but when I hear that, it gives me dictator vibes. All of time, all of eternity. Give me a second. We're building. Subscribe to the channel and like the video, please. We're building here. We're absolutely building.
For the lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that's.
Did you hear that? For all of the nations, which will soon be a truly magnificent region. Remember when Charlie was talking about they want to ethnically cleanse Gaza? I mean, other people spoke about it too. And remember also too, I believe they want some lands that are like seaside as well. I think even Trump or someone in his team maybe even tweeted or, kind of, told the press about, oh, Gaza. I think Trump even said how Gaza will make a nice resort town or whatever. It was something to that extent. So the ideas of even having this land, Trump has already said that like some time ago. So now all of a sudden we have one of the biggest crashes in a very long time. And it was obvious that it was done on purpose because it was just a major rug pull, which in like 2 hours, I mean, like so much money was drained out, which is an unnatural move. If you know anything about the market, when something makes an unnatural move to the downside, then it will recover more than likely quicker than later, right? Um, So it feels as if now I want to go into these automatic drawings because there's a few people, nations that I found after close examination that I found inside of Trump's, I'm going to call it wheelhouse. I wanted to say Trump's energy field, but I want to call it wheelhouse. And it's interesting that it aligns with the same energies that I found in the womb of Candace Owens. And that's just strange because why is it that Candace Owens is being heavily kind of, pushed out, but Trump is holding yet the same energy that is inside of her? And if you were here a few videos ago, we did see that there is also not also that Trump has a entity attachment, rather he is fully embodied or is the entity. What entity is that? Did I find? It was an actual demon. Demons show up really black with like red eyes. I remove entities for a living. So, in my personal opinion, this is what I saw and this is what I know. And demons, unlike reptilians and grays, they are innately just evil. So, when I tell you this isn't Trump, yes, I realize we see Trump, but this isn't not Trump. Trump is gone. Trump has been compromised and Trump is not here. Trump could be at home somewhere. He could be in underground, but this is not him. And if it is him, this is the MK altered or altered state of Trump because it is in fact a entity that we've already made clear. And that is what I know. Okay. So there are certain things that we just don't have to go back to because the energy still supports it. Now, I'm going to come back to that. It's very multidimensional here, guys. But now when I show you this next thing, it's about to get deep. And we're going to explore what I found in not only Trump, and this would be located near the lower abdomen. Remembering Candace Owens when I said there's some sort of entity that is hooked in to Candace Owens' energy field through her root chakra? The entity is hooked in Charlie through, remember, anchored in the feet. But I find the same energy in the root space in Trump's reading as well. And we're still going to go back to Charlie because that was just an initial vision inside of a dream. There has to be more evidence to support that, of course. But I'm putting it out there in case today those pieces start to formulate. But the one thing I can tell you right now is I believe there is a connection between the vision that I had of Charlie Kirk with the insider trading, the text message, and that this was enough money to pay his team. And he was celebrating. And he had blue behind him. In the spirit realm, my sign for deception, it's also blue is on the Israel flag. It's also, Democratic, as well. So we can't rule that out. And I did see literally what I keep trying to get. See, I keep trying to get to something, and someone doesn't want me to put it together. There is some sort of connection with a cell phone and how he got shot. And that is it's coming through very clear in terms of the connection, but I need the pieces in between to connect it all together. There's something with some sort of device that I believe may have detonated something. And I want to put that out there because for the past week, this keeps coming up, but I can't quite, every time I want to talk about it, I can't quite get there. So we're going to put that piece in there in the puzzle, and we're going to leave it right there and explore more right now. I want to bring you guys' attention back to Candace Owens first, and then we'll pop into the Trump's automatic drawing because I think you're going to find something very, very interesting. Now, if you've been here for a while, then you will know this is, oh, I wanted to say Candace. I'm saying Erica. This is Candace Owens. This is like her ancestry, but this is representing her true self. That's her chin, her nose. She has a flatter forehead. That's kind of her head, right? More ethnic, more Afrocentric features, right? Oh Lord, I was in the dirt. Let me see if I can get this out by now. I was in the plant box. Okay, planting some stuff. Oh God. Okay, I would do that later. But anywho, so yeah, so that's the first thing you have to know. Then, so Candace Owens' energy is like this inversion energy, right? So every time I'm in Candace Owens' energy field, I have to look at this thing very, very multidimensional. So that's her here. But then when we flip it over, we see that there is another face here. So now I want to show you the face here. That's the beard here. That's the mouth, nose, forehead. So that is we're looking at some sort of man here. And I want you to really pay attention to this because when I show what I show you next is going to be shocking. That's kind of like he has a beard, his mouth, nose, kind of a pointy nose, a little protrusion in the forehead. And I didn't notice this yesterday, but there's an E for Erica in here. You see this big block? There's the E. There's the E. It's in there. And then the energy, her energy, the womb energy is flowing right up to the Masonic order here. And the Masonic order, as we explored the Masons, the cross, you know, that we explored in the last video, that somehow they turn all these X's that keep popping up. Like these X's keep popping up all over everyone's readings. It's everywhere. And this X, you know, is a mutation of the cross of Christianity and of the Christ. And when they turn it at least 33 degrees, we get a X. This is the same X that I found in some sort of KKK outfits as well. So when I'm telling you, a lot of this stuff is what I'm finding. The underbelly energy, this white nationalism, kind of that we've kind of had this far right movement. And, you know, when Biden was in office, we had the far left movement. So what's coming up in the energy field, the far right movement, the white nationalism, it's leading me back to the KKK. That's where it has led me to. And it's kind of all over this reading. But not only is it leading back to the KKK, it's leading back to a mutation of the cross, which is, you know, that's what I've been saying. There's a common thread with all of these religions. They all have us attached to a energy thread, and there is our energy and our life force is being fed up and cycled up to some sort of entity that is literally draining life force to keep us lowered in frequency and in captivity, enslaved. So it's interesting that Trump mentions that he knows that this end of the age is the end of the captivity, like he said, because we're all in the age of Aquarius, it's all about the inner man, inner God, inner standing. So even these religions, I'm telling you, will fall because the polarity or the duality says as above, so below, as within, so without. So the old age of religion, as without, was about the external captivity, right? It was about the external God, right? And now the internal God, just the relationship with God, your own Christ energy being activated and online, is really coming through within the new age. And they know that that is what it is. So this is also why AI is here. Because if we have a new age within our own body and our own autonomy as flesh, right? As soul and spirit,
The old tricks will not work within the new frequency and vibration. So the old captivity will not work with the physical chains. That's why I'm saying the KKK energy keeps coming up, because just like Trump said, it's the end of that, but it's the beginning of a new captivity. And I truly believe it's the, the phone, the AI, the merging with the machine, the phone in the hand, right? And the end of, the neck is very symbolic, because the neck is the atlas. So when we talked about the 3-eye atlas, when you look up atlas in the human body, it's actually part of the neck. If you lose your atlas, you lose your ability to look around and to see things from different perspectives, to have a multidimensional viewpoint or vantage point. If you lose your atlas, and the C1 vertebrae, right, is the 3-eye. So if you look at the vertebrae of the neck, there is actually a C1 bone. I'm calling it vertebrae. It may not be called that, but there's like a C1 like vertebrae bone in the neck. 3, C is the same, because C is the third letter of the alphabet. So we get 3-eye atlas is talking about the C1 vertebrae, and which is located in the atlas of our human anatomy in our neck. And this is why Charlie was targeted in the neck. Even if he isn't per se gone all the way, they wanted to say that you are losing your ability, your atlas, right? And what will be the new atlas is, I'm telling you, has to do with these phones, has to do with AGI, the bigger form of AI that's coming online. And so the captivity will now have to be fit for the new age. So it will give you the illusion of the internal, right? Because we're doing the law of duality. As outside, so within. So it's going to give you the illusion of going within. Okay. So that's one thing you have to know that. So the end of one captivity, the beginning of the other. And what is being ushered through, to be honest with you, with all the X's, what is used to enslave us into the new system. Because remember, guys, if you've been here, we dive deep on this channel. This is multidimensional. Charlie is representing the collective. On one end, yes, this happened to Charlie, but this is what they want to happen to us. So when we zone out into some of these larger templates, we can see that this is what's happening on a collective scale. So remember, Candace Owens has herself being X'd out. Then she has something else, a man here, an entity, a man, and also here's the E energy, and this is being funneled back up to the Masonic order, right? Now let's take a look at Trump. And they really wanted to keep me off of this, and they really truly messed up the sound. So dark into light. Oh yes, I want to mention that when I channeled the AI Atlas, and I keep calling it AI Atlas because that's how Source calls it, it is a false light that's coming. And we're never going to get rid of it, because the moon won't do it anymore. The moon magic that they've been doing on us won't do it. They need something stronger for the new age that will lower our frequency and emit these harmful, radiation and different sonar rays that they manipulate to literally bind us down to the lower frequency, because humanity was evolving too much. So the mothership, which Source calls it, what's coming, what is the 3-eye Atlas? It is a Grand Wizard mothership, and Grand Wizard is tied back to the KKK. And when I keep saying KKK, what that truly means, it is the mutated cross. So what I want you guys to understand is the mutation of the cross, or the Christos light, is what will enslave us. We will be living under a false light. Who's the false light? It is AI. And this AI false light is not only coming as a physical representation of AI that will just hang out and orbit within our biosphere. We will never get rid of it, is what Source is saying. And it's truly going to be like something like the moon. Like the moon was toted here long ago, but this thing will come and hang out. But what it will be is nefarious, is another way to reinforce us into the matrix, which will now be digital. We are going into a digital matrix where everyone will have an avatar inside of a digital matrix. So this is where we're going, big picture. Big picture, this is where we're going. Now, we will still get back to Charlie because it felt like that was part of that was market manipulation. And with the blue behind him, it feels like the market manipulation and that massive dip that we had Israel behind it. That's what's coming through. It had Israel behind it. So my question is this: the massive siphon, wealth transfer siphon that happened had Israel behind it. Because remember what I told you guys before, the Ashkenazi Jews are connected to the Germans, and the most popular Germans go back to Queen Elizabeth. Her lineage is not innately British. It stems from German ancestry. When we talk about the Rothschilds, right, and all these elite families, they go back to this Jewish, this German kind of Ashkenazi Jew, right? And so they actually are converts into that faith. And then they set up shop, I think, in the 1940s in the land that called Israel, right? When, if you read the Bible, it actually tells you the Israelites are still scattered and they will be scattered until God brings them back together. So right there, that doesn't even align up with the scripture that everyone says that they are reading. So here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. There's something interesting going on. I'm not saying it's Charlie, but what I'm saying is this. This is another angle. Could they have used the Charlie Kirk situation to prime the energy field? Because if you know anything about trading, the stock market works off of fear and greed. What happened during this time, during the Charlie Kirk's energy field? Remember I said this was all to get us primed into an energy field? Well, there was a lot of fear within this field. Massive fear. And I will also say greed. And it wasn't greed for some of us, but for the people who know how to use fear to be greedy. Because what happens, guys, there's a saying in these financial markets is you want to be greedy when everyone else is being fearful. So when everyone else is jumping ship and selling, this is when your opportunity to buy low, because you can only make money when you buy low and sell high. So they've been cultivating, using Charlie Kirk to cultivate a energy field. So this is now, I'm going back to that original prophetic vision in the dream, that I believe that they're using or use the Charlie Kirk situation to cultivate the energy so that they could go in and do the grand siphon, is what I am saying. And because these people are the what do you call it? I'm getting the Jesuits are involved in this as well. But because we're looking at Rothschild energy, and in the 1929 crash, there was Rothschild energy all over that when I remote viewed it. Me and a friend of mine remote viewed it. And all people had to do was hold on and not sell. We would have rebounded, but people went spastic, and it took our world many years to recover, when if as a collective we would have known how to temper our emotions, which is what they feed off of, we would have actually recovered and we would have been on a different trajectory right now. But here's the thing, guys. I believe they primed in Charlie Kirk, the energy field. We're all in the Charlie Kirk's energy field. They used that to sneakily, remember when Trump's energy went away? Everybody's energy was gone. Remember I said they were all gone? Then we had a crash. How convenient. All your energy leaves. It goes dormant and silent. Then we have a crash. And this is one of the biggest wealth transfers, because the average man transferred the 1% their wealth because they sold. And who do you think bought it low after they sold? It was the same 1% that have been running this game on us since the inception of the markets. So I am tying this back to Israel with the blue behind Charlie. This was the setup. And three things can be true all at the same time. Could they have used Charlie's, so to speak, passing for something else? Yes, but this is coming through very clearly that when everyone went quiet and this plan was being put into place, and somehow the markets were drained, and that money reversed into Israel, and now Israel wants to call the war off. Not to say they want to, but it's because they've been paid to do it. And Trump colluded and helped them steal the Americans' wealth. Do you know there was over 2,000 people who ended their own lives because they lost a lot of money because they were over leveraged? They were using leverage to trade with. That means they were using the bank's money, right? Those are very high risk, but they lost their lives. So essentially, this is the blood. When I tell you that Israel and America's in a blood covenant together, I mean it. This is what sources said. Every time your government makes a move, because we pledge our allegiance to the United States of America, that's why they want your allegiance. Because when you do that, you're saying that everything this government does, I co-sign and I agree to it. And so, just like when my sister was telling that witch, no, don't try to get me to hold this because I opened the door and exposed what you were doing. This is going to be your karma. So when we pledge allegiance to the flag, we are saying that we are in agreement with everything that our government does. This is what we're saying. And I am saying that our government, United States, was only allowed to exist because it made a deal with Britain. I channeled this last year. The deal they made with Britain, it wasn't that America just kicked Great Britain's butt, sent them packing, because remember, so to speak, heroes will always write the story in their favor. No, that's not what I saw. What I saw was that they paid Great Britain to retreat. There was a deal struck, just like the deal that we see with Israel and America now. And it all makes sense because remember when Trump went to see Charles, and America still to this day owes Great Britain money. And you know what they owe Great Britain money for? And this is going to trip you out. Those original 13 colonies, they're still paying on it. It's like a loan. And slavery. Do you know when the South needed to end slavery because they voted on it after the Civil War? Do you know that those slave owners are still getting, some of them, they got paid for that. I don't know if they're still paying them off, but how you get paid for doing the right thing. So when I tell you that this is what's happening with Israel, it makes a lot more sense because we've been doing this historically, we've already did it with the British, and we've already did it with the Southerners. We've already done it. And so we just did it again. And so when I tell you that America stole our money to strike a deal with Israel so that this, so to speak, Trump, which is not Trump now, like I said, it is a full-blown entity. What entity is it? It's a full-blown demon. You can watch all the other videos. Subscribe, please, and like the video. It's a full-blown demon. And so when you see that on the world stage, you need to understand what's going on. The demon has literally made a deal with the other demon, because remember, they are in a blood oath. So these two, it doesn't matter. They are the same. When you're in a blood oath, the blood you have on one hand is the blood you have on the other hand. And I'm telling us one day, Americans will have to pull out of the American lie, because this is how you save your soul. So in the new age, just wait and watch for it. In the new age of expanded consciousness, we will understand about the sovereign soul, and we will start to understand these soul contracts and deals that we take unknowingly. And one day, your heart will have to pull out of the American lie and you will have to remove your allegiance, because every time you pledge allegiance, I'm telling you, they're in a blood oath with these people, and these people will not stop until they receive all of what it says in the Bible, which, as we know, they took the cross and they turned it 33 degrees to make the X. And so they created a mutation within the very foundation that they tell you to give your life force and your energy to. When they tell you to go to church and they present that cross, and America's supposed to be a Christian nation, they are siphoning, because they are all in Masonic brotherhoods. They are all in on it together. They all ate. They all got wealthy. During this transfer, $250 billion wealth transfer that they stole from everyday people to feed their pockets. And they are laughing at us because evil has been able to get away with it once again. So just know that Trump, the thing, the entity, or whoever it is that we call Trump, literally paid the people genociding, paid them, paid from American dollars, paid for them to stop. And now what does Trump get on the back end? He gets to look like the hero that stopped everything. Because remember, when you voted for Trump, you voted for the one world dictator. That came up last year. And by the way, this is his third term. We all thought it would be Obama serving that third term, didn't we? Because, Sleepy Joe was never the president. Never, ever. That's why he was always in AI videos and skin masks and all of that. He was never the president. Never. So now here's the thing. What I'm going to tell you is that Trump's energy field is very interesting, because it's holding a lot of what's going on with Candace Owens is also found in Trump's energy field. And remember, we explored the entity that is attached to Candace Owens, but the same energies are also the attachment in Trump. So this thing is very multidimensional. Is it even possible that not only did Trump collude through quantum manipulation and Charlie Kirk was in his energy field, but is it possible that Candace Owens is also energetically entangled into his field as well? And this is why we see the entity attachment in the same exact spot. Now, I want to show you guys something. This was the first initial drawing that I did for Charlie. And it shows his captivity. If you've been here, we don't need to go through that. But that's his head. There's some swirly energy, which is like a 6. The back of the neck, there's that X again. The X, like I said, this is how they've been moving. When I tell you this KKK energy, it's deeper than that. What it is a mutation of the cross, where they use religions to siphon our energy. And then to lock the spell in, they turn it, they manipulate it at least 33 degrees. And it locks us out of our expansion and locks our energy into their domain. So here's the X again. And when we see the X, this is just a mutation of the cross. This is the KKK energy is, what do you think is happening? Is execution, So here's the thing, that's his back. He's sitting on his bum. His legs are together. Feet are being binded down by something. Do not move, right? Here's the X again, being reinforced. This is the mutation of the cross. So Charlie Kirk's last name means church. Kirk means church. Who is doing this to him? The church. Jesuits included. So we're now getting into the Catholics. When I told you guys that everyone was in on it, all of these religions had this collective entity that siphons from us. I mean it. I remove entities for a living. I know an entity when I see one. The church is the X, it's the mutation of the cross. That is what is initially binding him down to this energy. Now look at this little swirly energy right here. Now this is Trump's automatic drawing. Look, there's a massive 6 in the middle. And this is in Trump's energy field. He's showing up as a 6. Look closely. There's 3s there. There's all those 3s right there. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. And I wrote here Antichrist. 3 6s, 6, 6, 6. Trump is holding Antichrist energy. But look, the same energy that is Trump, that Antichrist energy, was found in Kirk's head. Remember, Charlie Kirk is about the mental plane. His soul contract was all to do something great with the mental plane, and he was to be a master at that. That's why he kept talking about the pattern recognition, that he was really proud of that, of his mind, how it worked. So when I tell you the time when I channeled very early on, I hope they don't eat this man's brain. It is that much of a delicacy is what I'm telling you, because his brain is brilliant. And this is coming up, not what you guys see. I'm talking spiritually. I see this. It's in his soul contract to do something. He was going to create actually new systems for the brain, like very, very evolved, like, systems, right? So this is Trump. Remember I said that Charlie was in Trump's energy field through quantum manipulation? He looked up to him. This is the verification. That is all that was in his mind. It bothered him deeply when these Israel donors started to pull out and they started to say that he was being anti-Semitic. It bothered him. And of course, it bothers Trump, because remember Trump's early reading, he didn't want Charlie doing this because he said, Charlie, I need more time. Charlie, you are literally taking up whole floorboards out of the ship. There's water leaking in. There's a catastrophe happening. Please stop talking for now. This. You guys can watch all those videos. You're doing too much. It's not time to expose the Israel lie, because I'm still working on things on the back end. So that was a reason why Charlie became susceptible to the bondage energy, because I had to stop him, because things were not ready yet. So now, as we see in Candace Owens, she also is sharing a field with Trump. So here's Candace Owens once more, right here. That's the face, jaw, nose, forehead. You flip it over, she has an attachment in her womb area. There's the guy right there, forehead, nose, and like beard area. There's also an E for Erica. And Erica, remember, was doing witchcraft all throughout this thing. I'm talking from Candace on down to her husband. She was doing what I'm going to call it is everyday witchcraft. She's also working with the Trumpians. She was applying everyday witchcraft. A sprinkle here and a sprinkle there. She can still sit down with you and kiki and laugh, but it's everyday witchcraft that she is applying. She's watching her targets. That's what I'm saying. So now, when we look at Trump, you're going to find this very auspicious. I want you guys to pay attention to something here. Look at Candace Owens. She's X'd out. There's something going on in the womb, as we found the attachment there down in the root chakra. Well, if we look at Trump, imagine that this part's the head, and then this part would be kind of the stomach area. And this down here would be kind of towards the, the bottom of the stomach towards the root area. And then this quadrant here would be down where the legs would be. There are a few faces showing up, very similar to the faces in Candace Owens' field. Look at this. You look at this face here, this looks like an enslaved person. That's why I keep channeling the KKK energy, guys. That's his lips. He has very large, bulbous lips. Reminds me of, those pictures that they show you of slaves. So very, very large lips, a flat nose, and there's his eyes. He has kind of like Eastern eyes. And look, even his hair has some coils, like Afro textured hair. This is, in fact, what we're looking at. Look at that. We're looking at someone what I would consider to be a slave. That's what it looks like to me energetically. And when we look at Candace Owens, this also looks like a very, because Black Americans now, of course, we are all, mixed with multiple different races, but in the beginning, you would have been more in your pure blood. And that's what we get in Candace Owens and the other fellow that we just looked at. More pure blood, more Afro features here, with the jaw and the flat nose and the forehead and kind of, the head and the bulbous, head. And this would be more, Afro, indigenous, slavery sort of look. If you look back at pictures of slavery, people would look a lot closer to what I'm showing you here. Now, it's very interesting. There was something called the Willie Lynch letter. And if you guys know about the Willie Lynch letter, it was something that, now I can't verify it or not, but as the story goes, it was something that a slave owner put out and sent it around to other slave owners of like a tactic or some sort of blueprint that they could use to divide and conquer. So they could implement all of these kind of mind control things to keep, Blacks fighting within themselves, being lowered in frequency. And it would literally allow them to enslave themselves for hundreds of years. And one of those things was turning Black men against Black women. And we see that a lot today. We see a lot of fighting between Black men and Black women. And interesting enough, look, Candace Owens is turned to the left here. This is be her ancestry here, turned to the left. And as we see this guy, this other like kind of slave guy here, he's turned to the right. They're not facing each other. And and immediately when I looked at it, it's given Willie Lynch vibes. She's turned away from him. She's looking that way to the left. He's looking to the right. Energetically, this is how they divided the slaves back then. And also turning elder against child, child against elder, giving people complex with their skin. There was the brown paper bag test and all of that stuff. So it was a number of things done. And so when I channeled the KKK energy, guys, I'm spot on, because it's literally the what do you call it? The polarity of that is showing up. So I'm spot on. But now this is about to get freaky right here. This is where it gets freaky. And how I say that it appears that maybe Candace Owens is also in the field of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump could be secretly like taking people out. Listen, we're going to get there. It's crazy. So now remember, when we turn her over, this is Candace Owens. There's the guy right there. Nose, mouth, beard, forehead. Everything's going up to the Masonic order. Now, when we look at Trump, now remember what I said. I said Candace Owens is the only one that's inverted. But no, it wasn't until I went back to examine Trump's energy and I flipped it over. What do you know? Look at this. I got to find it. Hold on. Did they change it on me? Okay, hold on. Wait. I'm gonna find it. Oh, they don't go changing stuff on me now. All right, I see him. There's a guy hidden in here. It's okay. It's gonna be hard to see him, but I'm telling you, he looks like Trump. This is weird, y'all. So this part is his hair. Look at that. That's his head. His head is flat. You know how Trump's hair kind of hangs down? That's his nose, protruding nose, kind of Anglo-Saxon nose, or even a Jewish nose, Ashkenazi Jewish nose, German nose. That's what I'm getting. So that's the top of the head, little hair kind of hanging out. There's that nose there. And then there's the chin and the mouth. And so I want you guys to see it because this was hidden, but it's the same man. It's the same man that's in Candace Owens. And I want to draw an arrow to him. That's it. Now you see, here's the arrow. That's the top of his head here. That's the hair. This arrow is pointing towards his nose. See? Boop, boop, nose. This is his chin. The only difference is he doesn't have the beard, but his chin still protrudes out. There's the chin. And look, there's the neck. So you know that this is a face. There's the neck right here. So that's the face. And this is Candace Owens upright. Flip it over. Here's the same guy. He has a little forehead here. Here's that nose again, that profound nose, that Ashkenazi nose. Here's the mouth area. And now in this, I believe he has a little beard, but the beard looks like it may extend down. But that's the face. And it's the same face here. Top of the head, little hair hangover, nose, mouth, chin, and going down to the neck area. You guys see that? Boy, guys, subscribe to the channel and please like the video because I'm working hard for this. I'm like, I'm over here, I'm working hard. This is not easy. You guys see it? Okay. You guys see it? All right. So here's the thing. When now we examine these two upright, this is Trump, this is Candace Owens. Let me turn Trump back around. Okay. Now, if you look where the stomach area is for Candace, I'm gonna fold this over a little. Look how that almost lines up exactly in the same region. Look at that. So this is the mirror. I keep talking about this karmic mirror. This slave is in alignment with the gut here, the root. Candace's energy is going all the way back up, funneled through this guy, back to the Masonic order. Even if you were to put this guy down here, now they are Candace and this guy are now right in alignment. But look, all of their energy is going back up to the Masonic order. When I tell you guys, the foundation of this country is popping up, And I didn't even know that we would pop back into the race template. And that's probably why I had to open it early on when we started to explore, racial tension here. Because what I'm telling you is this, it literally is giving the vibe that it is the Black slaves, the ancestors, that energy is still to this day being funneled up. And it's being funneled. If you guys know anything about the Black church, I'm telling you, there is no more, like, I'm telling you, people that go to church and will give their last dollar to the church than Black people. I grew up in a Baptist church as a child, and I am telling you, these people will be a fool for Jesus. I'm gonna say it just like that. And what they think Jesus is when they go to church, whatever their pimping pastor says, that's what it is. No matter if their life it can show you otherwise. What I am seeing here is that what energy is being siphoned. Now we look on this collectively. When we look at all the X's, it's still the heavy control of the, of the KKK energy, which is the mutation of the cross, the mutation of being Christ-like. When we look at all of these X's that constantly pop up everywhere, X, X. And then when the X is there, there's a lot of bondage. If you notice, Charlie's shut down here, X and X, he can't move. Candace's true self is shut down. Boom, all on top of her, gone. She can't move. There was an X here in this energy field, which I was channeling 9/11. On this one, X, X. There's always death and destruction every time there's the mutation of the cross. Because if you look at the quadrants of the cross, it aligns at a point in the heart, and it also too divides the space into 4 quadrants. When you look at all these Masonic orders, if you go, they always have quadrants and little signs and emblems in those spaces. So I am telling you that what is giving the vibe of how are they getting the energy and the power to do all this? When people talk about reparations, it's not just so people can feel bad or just get a money grab. It's because it's showing up here that the energy of the enslaved Africans is still being heavily sedated and siphoned and used for control and for power, not only of America, but for America can have even the resources that is stole from not only the indigenous people, but also the slaves that were brought over, getting over 400 years of free labor to build a system that they could siphon off of to now funnel that back to their master, back to the Jesuits, back to these Ashkenazi Jews. How did they get the money? How did they get the energy? How did they get the power? It's all coming off of the back of the slaves because they literally gave these slaves the cross. They gave them the Bible. But at the same time, they would have the Bible in one hand and a whip in the other to indoctrinate and to scare and to enslave and to evoke fear and an energy field that they could build off of. The slavery debacle that happened in this country was the original priming of the energy field. So I am telling you, this America will never, ever, ever be right until it removes the original sin, the infliction caused by slavery and caused by the mutation of the cross. All of your energy has to go into the cross. All of your energy goes into the cross. All of your money goes into the cross. But what do? They take it and they turn it 33 degrees to feed back up to their Masonic orders that now you get your orders from. This whole place is an inversion. And what I am getting right now, I am getting that they use Charlie Kirk's energy as well, because they needed more cash, because maybe possibly the slavery energy has ran out. Maybe they could only siphon and use this for a period of time. Look how long it's lasted. They've been able to eat really good off of this. Maybe now Maybe when we zone out, that was the plan with the Willie Lynch letter saying, hey, slaves, if you go ahead and implement this, these people will be enslaved for 300 years. And we can eat and feast and do our dirt. And so now when we look at the polarity, what did I say? Did I not tell y'all that I saw white men will start to be heavily kind of scrutinized in this country? I'm telling you what I am knowing. What I'm saying is we are at the end of an apex where they've drained every bit of what they can from Black tears and pain. And now what we are witnessing is the beginning of them now draining the very people who, it's weird, claim to be part of the system. When I'm telling you that the system is ran by demons. Don't think about skin color. It's ran by demons because the very people that you thought, oh, the white people are part of this of this 1% that are oppressing us. Yes, on one end, you see the white skin, but I'm telling you what I'm finding through the psychic investigation. These now white men will start to be thrown under the bus. And so when I tell you there is an entity through these 1%, that is who your money is going. Doesn't care about your skin color. You care about skin color because they told you to care about skin color. But in truth, Charlie's being siphoned too. And I'm telling you, other white men will start to be siphoned. Because probably that's why Trump was saying it's the end of the captivity. Oh, we can't use this no more. Now we got to enslave something new, you know? That's the end of that age. Oh boy, we're able to eat on that age. That's the end of that pain. Because people know, and a lot of Black people are coming up out of these religions, especially if you're a Black Christian, is oxymoron. Because now that we see, when we look into the Charlie Kirk energy field, the Christian is in alignment with not only white nationalism, but when you take it far right, it swings back around to the KKK, which only encapsulates and enslaves Black people once again. So I'm telling you guys, we are breaking so many of their tools in this moment of reflection. And what I'm telling you is that they are using this man's energy, not just this man, but you will start to see a lot more white men. Things happen to white men. And what they will do is they will siphon the pain, your pain. Much like when they get Black people out there marching, when they do all of these killings and shootings. And I'm not saying that they're fake, but I'm also saying that we should look deeper into it because trust no one. This is how they keep the Black tears. And you see how now, you know, it's interesting. We find Black people sitting out of the fight for like immigration and things like that. And a lot of people are saying that they're tired. They're tired of being on the front lines. I find it interesting that the Black people is kind of like subconsciously withdrawing their energy from protesting all of these things. And now all of a sudden they have to now get energy from white men because they can't get it from the Black bodies that they are literally have used to siphon all of this time for control and power, going back up to the same Masonic order, going back up to the same Jesuits, going back up to the Rothschild, the same people that we call the reptilians in England and the King and Queen of England and all of that. The same people we call reptilians is the same people that literally are the 1%ers that you're sending your life force to entities. That's why I keep saying everyone is in bed with the entity. Because we are all in agreement, we are pledging our allegiance and we are allowing it. Okay, so this is I knew this thing was going to come full circle. And it's very interesting. Remember how I said that there's a secret X that I found in Erica Kirk's energy field? I found that same secret X in Trump's. I'm going to show it to you in a moment. I'm telling you, Erica and Trump are working together. And Charlie, what it looks like Charlie and Candace Owens, their energy is being literally put in alignment with Trump's energy field. And I'm going to I'm not saying I'm going to prove it, but I'm going to show you my findings. So here's the thing. Here's Trump. There's a secret X. And remember, the X is the mutation of the cross. I don't care if they say he's a Christian. No, he's not. It's the same. I want to keep calling it KKK, but it's the mutation of the cross. This is the best thing I can say. It's the best thing that how I know how to explain this thing is very multidimensional. Here's that secret X hidden over here. You see it? That's an X. I circled it so we could see it being hidden there. So he's appearing, the president. I'm here for everyone, even though his Antichrist energy is up front and center, but he's hiding that mutation. He's hiding the brotherhood here. He's hiding that KKK energy. And I find it interesting that Erica Kirk is hiding it too. This was one of her drawings. So this would be like this, Charlie, see, Charles Freeman, that's X'd out. This is her. E, remember the everyday spell work? So that's her E. It may look like a 3 to you guys, but on my end, it's an E. And she's anchoring, helping to anchor everyone down in the fishbowl. And look, this shows up a secret X. She's also in on it. So I don't care what she says and what her being the leader now turning point, but it is in fact a literally white supremacist organization. And it's deeper than white supremacist because I think that people can want what it is that they want. That's why I keep calling it KKK because it's extreme. Is what I'm saying. This X is representing the extreme to me. It's hidden here. And it's hidden in Trump's field. Right there, hidden. There's the only one that's small. But when you go to Candace Owens, her X is up in front and center because she's being X'd out with what energy? I'm telling you, it's that same KKK energy. Because look, this would be the slave version. Like I said, it goes back, 3 generations or back to slavery or a time period like that. That's what they're using. I'm telling you, they've been using, I don't know if like Black people have some sort of superpowers or something, but it's given we are using Black pain, Black fear, Black joy, Black everything to siphon and to get like energy. That's what is given. But here in Charlie too, his X's are up front and center. They're not hiding right here. Bondage to the feet, right here. Bondage to the neck, to the atlas, to the C1 vertebrae in the neck, which showed up in his wife's field. That 3-eye atlas, no, it's CI. Literally, it's Charlie, the C1 vertebrae in the neck. They're about to take our atlas away, cutting our connection off with our divine Christos anointing. And the 3-eye is also representing the 3rd eye. They have to disconnect the neck so that you lose your atlas, your ability to navigate. They want you just a body running around with a chicken with his head cut off and without your brain intact so that they can go ahead and implement the next system for your captivity. It will be the illusion of freedom, but in fact, it will be, I'm telling you, through these freaking phones is like a portal to hell, girl. It's a portal into the digital matrix because that is where we are going next. And what this whole energy heist was with the market crash and them using Charlie Kirk's energy was a way to siphon the last bit from the system that Trump already told you it's the end of this age of captivity. They had to siphon the bit of the old system, and the new system that comes online is the crypto. So they had to bring it way down here. So they made money on the way down, then they bought low, and now watch what happens next month. As typically, when I looked back, the market did this a very similar dip last October and September. And then by November, we started to see it climb up substantially. So these people have been running the same thing. But you had people like murking themselves and running, and when all they had to do was zone out. That's why we have to look at these templates zoned out, because if they zoned out and looked at their account last year, they would have seen that the same thing happened in October last year. They always do this. So here's the thing. This is the C1. This popped up in Erica Kirk's. This is C1, the C1 vertebrae attached to the atlas. She is in alignment with this cutting the neck off, cutting the atlas off, because she is in the not just Masonic order, but it's that KKK energy. It's that it's a vehicle. That mutation, which is it's the cross, it's a vehicle of power and control, is what I'm trying to get at. But that's, those are the source codes as source shows it to me. So I have to say it like that. So Trump's X is hidden, Erica's X is hidden, but Charlie and Candace's X's are on full display. And that kind of sound like something that we might need to explore. But when I tell you, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to try to wrap it up soon. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, guys. Please, please, please. I'm going to tell you something here, guys. Get this, it's about to get deep. I don't think the quantum manipulation was just Charlie in Trump's field. Because like I said, I don't think Trump is there. Someone else is controlling this field, although it does look like Trump. Because here's the thing, here's Charlie again, here's that 6 energy, which shows up here, that's Trump. Trump was in his head. Trump had probably already spoken to him. I know he has. He was energetically in his field. Remember, I kept channeling death energy for Donald Trump, but Charlie was a sacrificial lamb for it. He used him as an energetic shield to shield him. This man is a great chess player. I'm telling you, but look, it's about to get deep when I show you this. Remember in the last automatic writing I did for Candace Owens, and I said she's now energetically positioned like Charlie right before he passed away. That's why I was like, we need to pray for her and remove this entity, because it's literally priming her energy field just like Charlie. Look at Charlie's posture, spiritual posture here. Head down, neck exposed, down, bondage, sitting on the bum, slouched in the back, bondage in the feet. Candace Owens. This is the latest one that I did the other day. That would be her head looking down. Look at her. This is her crown, right? Her confidence is like weighed down. But if you look at the crown, it's also an E for Erica. I'm telling you, Erica has been the silent one applying the everyday witchcraft to prime these 2 people into the field of Donald Trump energetically. So now her head is down. She got the weight of this whole situation on her back. She got Charlie here. See, that's the C. Charlie's on her back. And remember, she was playing that spiritual game of checkers or whatever with Erica. And so now look, every time Erica is involved, Erica's energy, now look what happens. Look, back is slouched. She's sitting on her bum. There's her legs here and her feet, and she's about to get, this anchor is moving right in. And if it moves in, it's going to put her feet in bondage, just like it did to Charlie. Bondage, bondage. So when I tell you that Candace Owens energetically, I know she presents as strong, but I'm telling you, they are weakening her energy body. They are weakening her energetically. It's what I know. And also, too, hold on, there's something else. Yeah, there was something else, some other anchors I need to talk about. I guess that might be it. But do you guys see what I'm saying? How all of this stuff is fitting together? It's like if the glove fits. It's giving the vibe that the glove is fitting, girl. So now, within the context of this video, we found out a lot more. Things are making a lot more sense. The one thing I don't know is how the cell phone has to do with, because it felt like Charlie detonated himself in the vision. But I think it also could be he was made to look like that, because guys, sometimes you can receive messages. This is why you always have to test the spirit. And this is why I always have to get confirmation, because just so, for instance, we're out in creation, we're out in the energy field. There's a lot of thoughts floating around. Every thought is not your own, and every thought is not from a human thought. Every thought is not a God thought, and also every thought is not a devil thought. That's why I keep saying you got to learn how to read energy signatures so you understand, because as this world pushes into a more multi-dimensional sphere, you're going to have to know that, because AI fools everyone now. So how are you going to differentiate what's real and what's not? It's about reading energy signatures. That's what I'm getting at. So what I'm saying here is that the only thing, the piece of the puzzle that I want to use to exonerate Charlie Kirk being part of this is that part of what I saw of him detonating with almost a fake hand, him detonating, and then something through the phone. It was like, I don't know, it was like something with the phone. I don't know if the phone caused something to shoot at him, but you would think, like, why would he shoot himself? Like, that didn't make sense. And so that's why I'm leaning towards this is symbolism. And so that part is still yet unknown. But as we continue with the psychic investigation, I think we're going to find out a lot more about the phone. And I think the phone, like I said, the phone is a portal into the new matrix they are building, the digital matrix. And what I'm thinking, at the very least, the Charlie Kirk situation allowed them to prime the energy field to now push more and more into the new digital space. Because like I said, the crypto is the new currency. Once they get the paper dollar out of our hands, we could literally exist within a virtual world, because everything will be tokenized. And so when I saw the insider trading, right, and it all kind of makes sense on kind of draining the money out of the system. Two birds with one stone. We can drain it over here. We can pay Israel. Israel can say that they're going to stop the genocide. We're going to have peace over here. Trump's going to look like the hero. He's going to continue his status as the one world leader, because that's what the vote was for, right? And then the world will be happy for a moment. But what's going on in the back end, 3i Atlas is literally coming into our biosphere to big brother us, because we have ascended so much where now they have to bring something to permanently apply the pressure. And this is going to give way to what I saw with this phone. The phone becomes an escape into a space. So as the pressure gets applied more and more and life becomes a little bit more unbearable, your phone, your attachment to escaping through the phone, through media, social media, will actually lay down more and more the foundation of the new captivity, which is now internal. Because remember, the new age is about the internal God, the internal knowings, and all of that. And so somehow the phone will lead us into this new digital matrix. And I believe that all of this was to literally drain the money out of the old system or the old age, to now do the reset, and to funnel it, and now to allow them to purchase more of the crypto. So now when that goes up, then they stop the paper dollars, and then you are out of the game, and you are in a captivity yet once again, where these people that have literally made you exert all of your energy into the cross, and then they took it and they turned it 33 degrees for their wealth and for them to remain in power. And so that we will have the same people in power within this new age. This is my findings. Okay. And we will continue on with the psychic investigation. And so, guys, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to book a healing session, spiritual diagnosis, links are down below. And pick up my book, The Great Expansion, A Cosmic Bible for the Ages. And it literally is a channel Bible. It explains to you everything that is going on right now, so you'll never be left without answers. And if you want to learn how to be a psychic investigator and learn over 20 different quantum healing modalities, then please email me instructions number 4 humanity at gmail.com for information about the course. Okay. I love you guys so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. And so it is as we walk together in divine love. Be well.